Right, so last video pretty much outlined what to expect and how to ensure that progress is being made. So in this video, we're going to get a little bit more specific into what foods you should eat. So embracing the hunger being a part of the problem for losing weight. Not really problem, but it's a challenge that some people kind of can't deal with. So this is why it's important that the foods you do eat keep you full, make you think that, okay, I don't need to eat anymore. So you want to be full, but that also give you energy, right? So it's all good feeling full, but if you don't have any energy, you're going to hate trying to lose weight. So we want to feel good as best we can, obviously, and we don't want to feel hunger. So the best foods to eat are going to be high in protein, high in fiber, okay? And we're not cutting carbs out, we're not cutting anything out. It's a balanced diet, right? It's a balanced diet. It's got fats, it's got proteins, it's got carbs. So protein is the most important one. You should make sure that you go out of your way to get in every meal, right? So pushing breakfast further into the day, that's going to help deal with this hunger, right? And then when you do eat, you want to make sure that you got protein at every meal. Okay, so a good rule of thumb, if you don't want to track. Now, I know a lot of you are asking, Shane, yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing? Mine, I'm tracking everything really to the gram. So I know only a small percentage of people are going to do what I'm doing, so I'll make another video. So for the people that don't want to track, which is most of you, which is fine, a palm size meal, serving of protein, whatever way you want to get that, I'll leave that up to you. But a good, rough estimate is have a palm size amount of protein 3 times a day. Or if you want to have 2 meals a day, just have the same equivalent split into 2 meals. Or if you want 4 meals, it doesn't matter. Whatever works for you, but just get that amount of protein in. I personally like red meat and eggs. Since being sick, that's what's really made me feel good, and it really keeps me full, and obviously promotes lean muscle as well. So the reason why protein is so important is because you want to have as much muscle on your body as possible, and protein is the building blocks of that muscle. So as you diet down, if you got enough protein in your diet, there's a good chance that you'll burn fat and not muscle. And also, protein is really satiating, probably the most satiating of all the foods that you eat. So it's a good way to feel full and satisfied when you eat as well. So next in line would be to make sure that you're having enough veggies, right? So whatever veggies you want to have, go for it. Knock yourself out, right? The carb sources are really important. So if you've got a slow metabolism and or you're metabolically damaged, so that you're insulin resistant. So what I mean by that is that, you're a little bit higher in body fat percentage. You don't tolerate carbohydrates too well. You get bloated, you're puffy and all that kind of stuff. Your carb sources are really important here. So there's a big difference between eating sweet potatoes and rice or pasta or bread, right? So especially if you're a female and you don't have too many calories to eat because you're trying to lose weight, it's more important for you to get your veggies your carbs from sweet potatoes, pumpkin, beetroot, potatoes. There's a big difference between eating those and then having bread, rice, pasta, cereal, whatever. I would encourage you to have most of your carbs from those root vegetables, and fruit as well is a good option, because full of fiber and vitamins. So when you eat those foods, they fill you up, but you also feel good as well. So you don't feel deprived and you don't feel lethargic or whatever. Sweet potatoes is like godsend for dieting. Most of my carbs come from sweet potato, and you just can't go wrong, right? You feel full and you feel pretty cool when you eat them as well. So I would encourage you to have your carbs from there. And then the fats is, when you diet, really important. You can't cut fats out of your diet, but also you're trying to diet, you're trying to lose weight as well. So you're not going crazy just pouring olive oil all over your shit either. So you want to be sensible with the amount of fat that you're having. Now, I personally prefer to have all the egg yolks. So a lot of bodybuilders and people trying to lose weight cut all the fat out of it. Like they have egg whites and they have chicken breasts, and then they get their fats from nuts and whatever. Oh, I don't like that. Whole eggs are the best thing you can have. The fats in eggs are fucking godsend for your hormones. And I also like the fats of good quality red meat. So I have whole eggs. I also, have the fattiest cuts of red meat as well, again, because my hormones really thrive when I eat them. And then I just add tallow. I like tallow, which is pretty much beef fat, but you can have olive oil or coconut oil, butter, whatever you want. But I'd rather have more whole food fats than adding the oils to my food. So again, without tracking, you're going to have to be consistent with how much fats you use. And then again, you got to track on the scales, are you making progress or whatnot, but you do have to have a certain amount of fat. So for me personally, I don't go under 60 grams of fat per day, and I'm trying to get really, really lean, right? So that's my threshold of what I'm doing. So for females, you shouldn't be dropping below 50, 60 either. Like there's going low fat, you're going to feel like shit. You'll have hormonal swings and you just won't feel good. So, make sure you're getting enough fats in. So I'd recommend tracking your food for at least a week or two, just to get an idea what it looks like to have enough calories, and what it looks like to be on track, and then you can get rid of tracking, but it's up to you. So let's give you a day of what you could eat. So for breakfast, I like having eggs and some fruit, and yogurt is a good option, right? Or if you just want to have eggs and vegetables, that's another good option, with some fruit. Then lunch and dinner is very similar for me. It's definitely red meat, broccoli, tomato, zucchini, doesn't matter. Those vegetables, I don't count them. I just have them because they bulk up your meal quite a lot. So it feels like you're eating a lot, but there's no calories in them, hardly any. And then I have that with sweet potato. And then again, dinner's the same as lunch. I'm a bachelor still. I cook my own food. I'm not fucking doing anything fancy. I just do what makes me feel good and that makes me look good. So you can dress that up however you want to, but I just keep things basic. I season with sea salt, black pepper and turmeric. You can look that up, but black pepper and turmeric, super anti-inflammatory when you combine them together, and it tastes pretty sick as well. Oregano, basil, add it in there if you want as well, but to be honest, red meat, sweet potato and a whole bunch of veggies with that seasoning, I love it. So, get creative and do what you want, but that's a good basis. Now, to make sure that that's the types of foods you want to eat, but you still have to, your ratios are going to be different to mine. Everyone's got their own certain amount of calories they need to eat to lose weight. So this is where you got to test and weigh yourself, and you kind of gauge, okay, am I eating too many sweet potatoes? Am I not eating enough? That's why what I told you from yesterday's video, you want to have at least half a kilo to a kilo loss each week, and then you base your food to match that ideal amount of fat loss to lose every week. So, if you don't want to track, start with maybe, a handful of sweet potato, like a fistful of sweet potatoes with a palm-sized serving of meat. Do that 2-3 times a day, and then see what happens on the scales. This is why I like to track, because if I can track what I'm eating, then I can be super diligent and say, okay, I'll put on weight here. I know exactly how much to take off, and then I start losing weight. And then once you dial in how much calories you need, how many carbs, how many protein, how much fat, then your fat loss is consistent. And for me, it's motivating. If I know that I eat this much and then I'm losing, I can just put it on autopilot, and I know I'm going to continue getting results. If you don't track, there's a lot of guessing. There's a little bit of frustration that can occur. And if you don't, it's up to you. I'll leave it up to you, because, it's your journey, your results that you're after. But if you stick to these whole foods that I'm telling you, meat, fruit and root vegetables and eggs, whatever you want to do, you can't go wrong. If you've got any questions, message me and I'll start making specific videos for it. 10 minutes. I've got to get off.